delete the scheduled one since it was not working.
All right, I believe we are live. Great, we are in business. This is good. All right, so we've got a chat that you could chat in. So here's what we're doing. We are going to do a live. We're hopefully going to do this on a regular basis, probably every week, but I don't want to make any commitments at the moment. We're working out all the kinks and the technology pieces and all that, but we've got some questions that we know people want answered for business stuff, and I think that it'd be really cool. We have a chat that you can put questions in if you have any questions about business, if you want to know anything specific to business, payment processing, way to structure businesses, all that kind of stuff. We're just going to go through and answer your questions. I think that one of the cool parts about this is that we can actually interact, which is my favorite part about it. You know, as much as it's fun to talk to a camera and make videos and do YouTubes, I think going back and forth with you guys about business will be an awesome and fun experience for me, at least, and it will be more, you know, entertaining for me at least. So it'll be good. All right, so we're going to start out with first question. How do I know if my business idea is any good? So I think that one of the cool parts about where we live and what we're doing is there's two ways that you can know if your business idea is any good. The first way is anybody else already doing it successfully? And if they are, then your business idea is good. It's just the question of how do you differentiate yourself to compete in the marketplace. The second way that you would know if your idea is any good is that you go and test it in the market, right? So if you don't have a lot of data already out there in the marketplace and you're kind of taking a risk on like a new product, new idea, new service or something like that to see if people will actually enjoy it, then you have to go around and try to sell it. Before you even have the product made. This is one of the reasons that, like, say, Kickstarter and other websites that allow people to put out products and ideas and then get crowdfunding before they actually make the product has been such a good venture for both Kickstarter and for other people, because what it does is it allows for you to go and test your idea in the marketplace before you've actually done anything or spent a bunch of capital trying to make it. So imagine doing this in the reverse order. You really like something or you really like an idea, and then you spend a bunch of money having a manufacturer or you need a bunch of equipment for a service or something like that. And so you put in a bunch of money to get it started, and then you try to go sell it and nobody wants it, right? That would be the wrong way to do it. What you want to do in order to test an idea is you want to spend a limited amount of money, you know, maybe small is a relative term, so that's why I say limited, depending on what it is that you're doing. Go and test it in the marketplace. See if there's people that actually want this service and see if you're good at it and if your idea is any good. And what you may find is that your idea is good, but there's some tweaks that need to be made. So a lot of times this could be done with, like, say, software or tangible products that people want. You want to know if people actually want it. You want to know if it would work. Go out there, sell the idea to some people, see if they want it. If it's a service and it's something that doesn't take a lot of capital, like let's say you want to see if you would be any good at, say, digital marketing, or you want to see if you would be good at some other business service, consulting, accounting, whatever. Go out and give the service away for free to some people, see how that goes, get some experience under your belt, get some social proof by way of, say, like reviews and things like that, so that you can then use that to then go and sell it, you know, at a profit for yourself. So you can also do that. Maybe what you do does cost some money. You could sell it at cost to people, being kind of a middle way to do this, so that at least they're getting a discount, right, or a hefty discount, but you are not having to, you know, go into debt, so to speak, in order to try it out and get it started. So that would be the first one. How do you know if your business idea is any good? Next question. Alyssa, do you have a list of these questions? You do. So, like, maybe you think about which one you think would be the next best question to go with. All right. So what do I do if I'm scared to leave my 9-to-5 job? All right. Well, first and foremost, if you have a job and you do not have other streams of income, and you are not in a position where you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever business idea that you have will be successful within the amount of time that it would take for you to pay your bills, then my overwhelming suggestion to you is not to quit your main job. for the simple fact that you need that money to do two things. Number one, you need it to pay your bills, and you're also going to need that money to support whatever business endeavors you're working on, building. If you don't have any money coming in, then you're going to be more worried about paying your bills than doing a good job at the product or service or business that you are looking to start. So everyone, on the other hand, is a little bit timid or has some sort of anxiety about quitting their 9-to-5 job, unless they just absolutely hate their job, right? But nobody that's gone into business that had a 9-to-5 job before was like, oh, I'm so confident that this is going to work, and that I'm going to be making all kinds of money, even more money than I'm making now, and that this is going to be so much more secure than the current situation I'm in. That's not the thought processes that people are going through when they're starting a business, right? Or when they're taking on any new endeavor. A lot of times you just kind of have to do things by faith, right? You're like, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to have faith that God and me, we're going to do this thing together, and it's going to work out. But you have to have a certain level of confidence built up in order to do that. Again, my suggestion being, work your 9-to-5 and then work your 5-to-9 until you're able to replace your 9-to-5 with your 5-to-9. And even then, sometimes maybe you're able to work it out to where your 5-to-9, makes a bunch of money, but doesn't require you to, use a bunch of your time, and you can keep your 9-to-5 for the foreseeable future. Although I will say this, once your 5-to-9 overtakes your 9-to-5, now you're making double the money. There's a certain amount of discipline that it takes in this, once you get to this point, to not be spending double the money at this point so that you can take the one income, replace the other with it. Now you have some money saved up that you can put into the business. And now the amount of time you were putting in from 5-to-9, you can now put into 9-to-5. Instead of 4 hours a day, you're able to put in 8 hours a day, or whatever amount of time it is that is necessary to put into it. You could put in all that time, 9-to-9, if you really felt like it. But now you're able to really devote your time. It should, because of that, input-output equation that you've created, it should multiply, and you should be able to make, even more than you were when you're doing the 5-to-9, much faster because of the amount of time as a resource that you're able to pour into it. So I think that would be a major plus for you to do. Start with your 9-to-5, keep it, work your 5-to-9, and then look, what the reality of a 5-to-9 is this. If you have, a spouse and you have kids and you have other things going on from 5-to-9, your 5-to-9 may not be 5-to-9. Your 5-to-9 may be, 8 to midnight or 9 to midnight or something like that until you get going. And what that does is it puts you in a position where if you have to relate to customers, then you're going to be relating to customers mostly through email and scheduling texts and things like that, which is just kind of a little pro tip, I suppose, that when you're working into the evenings, you can do all of your follow-ups and all of your emails and all of your communications, and you can schedule them. If you're just using Gmail, you can schedule Gmail to send emails whenever you want. If you're doing text messages, I know on Android phones, I'm sure on iPhones, you can schedule text messages. On Android, you just hold the button down in the Google Messages app. It pops up a display. You pick what time you want that message to send, and then you hit send. And that way, that message can go out at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning instead of 9 p.m. tonight, so to speak. You get the idea. So just a little pro tip for those of you that are moonlighting, you are working into the evening, trying to replace your 9-to-5. Alyssa, what do you got? What's the next one?
How do I create multiple income streams without spreading myself too thin?
Oh, how do I create multiple income streams without spreading myself too thin? So I would say the question, I don't want to say it's the wrong question, but it's the type of question that comes from the advice that has been given over and over the years, that wealthy people have multiple streams of income. And so you, as a person with just a job, you need to develop multiple streams of income. So this is true and false at the same time. It is true because having multiple streams of income puts you in a position to where if one of those streams of income were to go away, i.e. your 9-to-5 job or this investment or that investment goes south, having multiple streams of income means that your lifestyle isn't as hardly affected because now you have multiple streams of income. Most people have one though. Most people just have their job. And in the cases where most people just have their job, what they really need is they need to find a way to produce one solid way to produce income that doesn't involve their time being traded for money, right? So in this equation, you're working a 9-to-5 job. If you stop going to work from 9 to 5 and using your time in that position, you will not be getting that income any longer. And so the input that you're putting into that job, even though there's, other things you put into it, effort, creativity, and things like that, skill, your time is the main resource that you're inputting into that equation, right? If you don't have another stream of income, say that you had your savings, you put it into an investment, and now that's producing income for you, where you don't actually have to put your main resource of time into it in order to produce the income. If you don't already have that, right, then you're going to need to find a way to produce that. The way that we've done it for myself and for our referral partners and for our agents out in the field is we do it by selling payment processing and POS systems. Once we get those things put in, we put the energy, time, and effort up front into those things. And then on a residual recurring basis, that those funds come back in as a stream of income. And then you could think of it that every account is a separate stream of income, right? Because if I were to lose one, it's okay. I still have, 50 or 100 more or 10 more, whatever number of accounts it is that you need in order to produce the income that, would support your lifestyle. One of the ideas there then is that having the multiple streams of income isn't really the key for you. It's having one solid stream of income that frees up your time. And then once you have freed up your time, then you can focus on producing other streams of income. Until you have produced that solid stream of income, coming up with all these different ways to produce extra streams of income that just make you run the rat race, right? I'm flipping couches. I'm selling cell phones. I have an eBay business where I go to the thrift stores and I buy stuff and I flip those things, right? If you don't have a solid stream of income coming in from a place that you don't have to put your time into as much as you do a regular job, then it doesn't make sense for you to go and try to find a bunch of different streams of income. It makes sense for you to put your time and resources and effort into one spot to produce a solid stream of income so that once you have that, then you can redirect those efforts to produce more streams of income and go from there. Do you have another one?
Yes.
What'd you got?
How can someone with no sales experience start earning residuals?
Oh, I love this question. How can someone with no sales experience start earning residuals? As you guys know, if you've been on this channel or following this channel for any length of time, we talk a lot about residual income, passive income, and those sorts of things. The reason that I love this question is because the people that don't have sales experience are many times the best salespeople. Now, that's not to say that somebody that's a solid professional salesperson can't come in and have more success faster than somebody that doesn't. I absolutely think that people that have experience in sales, that were actually well-trained, good salespeople, will do well in sales right out the gate. But when somebody comes into sales and they come into it through a process like ours and a vehicle like ours, meaning a way of producing residual income, not of selling something and getting paid once, you turn yourself into a farmer rather than a hunter. And to me, that makes all of the difference. I think one of the things that people don't like about sales or salespeople is the salespeople they've encountered that they didn't like. And so there's a stigma, kind of like a personality or a set of traits that salespeople have that people don't like. Newsflash, those were not good salespeople, right? The good salespeople are the ones that are facilitating a buying experience that uncovers value to their prospects in a way that makes it to where the prospect desires whatever it is that that person is selling. So, and with that in mind, you don't have to be, tricky, slick, fast talking, or any of the things that people think of as salespeople, right? We'll call it the old used car salesman. Not to say that all used car salesmen are bad. Some of them are great. But there's a reason that certain industries and certain things, professions have a bad name. Couple things that you need to know. Number one, everybody is a salesperson, right? You're watching this, whether you're in sales right now or not, you're a salesperson. You're either selling something to someone or you're selling yourself on something, right? Period, end of story. And so what ends up happening to people is without a proper perspective and mindset on sales, then you're going to think that, hey, I'm not already a salesperson. Well, newsflash, you already are. So there's no point in you worrying about whether or not you have sales experience because you have lots of sales experience selling yourself. Every time you try to persuade somebody on an idea, every time you're talking to somebody, every time you're doing, any work-related things, especially, or even, things where you're talking with people, you're selling something. You're selling your personality, right? You're selling yourself as a friend, as a spouse, as a parent. You're doing a load of different activities where you don't realize that you're in the sales business, but you already are. So not having sales experience, not a problem. For me, I'd rather take somebody that has raw qualities of like being diligent, right? Having integrity. Those two characters especially, because having those two characters, diligence, right? Discipline and the ability to just do the work and put in the effort, and having integrity, those two things are going to be, for me, the top two qualities. Not, are you a great salesperson already, right? And the reason for that is if you're diligent, and you're willing to put in the work, and you have the discipline to put in the work, then you'll make the effort to make the number of contacts that you do, right? Send the emails, find the businesses that are available to be sold, right? Send the text messages, make the phone calls, go and see the prospects. If you're diligent, you'll do the work. If you're not the greatest, salesperson personality per se, you're going to have more success than somebody that has a great personality but isn't willing to do the work. So the diligence piece is very important. Integrity is also very important because especially in our business, the payment processing and POS business, integrity is vital for two main reasons. Number one, credit card companies have made credit card processing and fees complicated by design. So you really need to be the type of person that a business owner can trust, and they need to be able to intangibly feel that in order to trust you to do the work for them, right? And build that relationship with them, because they can sniff a fraud, they can sniff a salesman, slick salesman, from a mile away, and maybe they'll go against their better judgment, once or twice, but they're not going to do it in the long term, right? So having that integrity piece is important from just building relationships and having success in sales. But it's also important because in this business, it's not just about getting a new customer. The name of the game here is gain and retain. We want to gain new customers and we want to retain the ones that we have. If we start losing customers out the back door as fast as or faster than we're gaining customers in the front door, then we have a losing equation and our business is not going to be sustainable. But if you're the type of person that has integrity, then just that one character trait, and a basic way to say integrity in business is what I say and what I do match, right? So you tell a prospect something and then you deliver on that. Guess what? What you told them is what you sold them on. And so if you do that, then they're going to be, their expectations are going to be met, which makes them a happy customer, which means you're going to be able to retain the customers. And then as you gain new customers, you don't have people running out the back door. You're building up a client base of happy customers. And the more happy customers you have, they multiply, right? Because business owners talk to each other and they ask each other, man, like I got this trouble with this guy with POS system or credit cards or whatever. Who do you use? And when you are a salesperson, right, with integrity, you're going to have the ability to then, get referrals from your current customers and whatnot. So I will do one more question. What do you got?
Do you need to be licensed or certified to start earning with Champion?
Do you need to be licensed or certified to start earning with Champion Payments? The short answer is no. There's no governmental body that licenses merchant services professionals. It's not like securities or insurance products or anything like that that has that is regulated. The payment processing industry has largely done a good job of preventing the government from getting involved by regulating itself, data security standards, fraud, things like that. So from that aspect, it's been pretty good. However, people that want to work with us go through our training program. We actually, at 11 o'clock today, have a training call with our agents. And we had a boot camp in the winter this last year in December. to train agents so that our agents are well equipped to go out and represent our products and services with diligence and integrity. So short answer is no, there is no licensing. I think that's a very positive thing. I would say the only downside to not having a license in this industry, because obviously I would go get a license, is that there are a lot of people that get in the industry and then get out, and they do some damage because they go out and they do shady things, or they do things in a manner that because of their lack of experience and knowledge and their lack of certification, so to speak, they kind of leave a trail of damage in their wake before they, 6 months in, decide this isn't for them and they quit. So that does happen a decent amount in the industry. Fortunately for us, we don't have a lot of that. And we're very hands-on with our agents, and we help especially our new agents present merchants with our products and services so that they can, get off the ground and get up and running. So, all right, so I don't think this was bad for our first live. I think this was pretty good. I'm excited to do this on a regular basis. I think answering business questions in general is a lot of fun for me. I'm kind of a business geek, and I enjoy it. So if you watch this, or you like this, or you were live, I don't even know how many people we have on at this point. It would be great for you to leave comments, give me some encouragement as we do this again, and or send us an email at info@championpayments.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to answer your questions for next week. That way you can submit some questions and we'll answer them next week, and we will go from there. But until then, be blessed. I appreciate you very much. Have a good one.